Hi, I'm Tash from The Loving Lifestyle, a channel dedicated to helping you live your best life. So we have a bit of a different video today, but I think it's something really worth talking about because man have I learnt that people have a lot to say about someone choosing to eat a plant-based diet. Not gonna lie, I've always been somewhat baffled by why people feel the need to comment on other people's eating habits. It seems like such a personal thing to me, and to interrogate someone on literally the food they put in their body just seems a little bit invasive to me. It's literally about putting food into your body for nourishment, enjoyment, and survival. I personally choose to eat the healthiest diet that I can for my overall health and well-being, but I rarely ever care how anybody else chooses to treat their own body. It's just not my business. Unfortunately, I am seldom extended the same courtesy. The only people I've ever really encouraged toward a plant-based diet are those who are active in fields related. For example, people who care a lot about climate change, pollution, healthy eating, fitness, animal testing and cruelty. Because to be honest, eating a plant-based diet is the easiest, most accessible, simplest, and often most effective way to serve all these ideals. And it seems rather hypocritical to me if someone's going to lecture somebody on, say, climate change, if they don't themselves subscribe to a plant-based lifestyle. That being said, when I'm asked about my plant-based lifestyle, what I do and do not subscribe to, why I do it, what my feelings on X topic are, I can usually tell if someone is genuinely interested and collecting information for their own consideration, or if they're looking to trip me up or spike their ego by getting a reaction out of me. I choose not to engage with the latter, and I'll usually just say something along the lines of, I'm a cook and I like the challenge, I feel better for it, I never really liked meat anyway, or simply nod and change the topic to something a little less controversial. What you have to remember, and I will sound a little smug while saying this, but you know what, I am a little smug, so who cares? People are threatened when somebody challenges their lifestyle, especially if they're already aware that perhaps they're not doing the best they could. Rather than get in a heated argument with somebody on the defensive, save your energy for those discussions that are actually worthwhile. Before I reply to anybody asking me about my plant-based diet, I listen for clues in their tone of voice and the word order of their question. And if they caught me off guard, I simply say, I'm sorry, could you ask me that again? I spent the last 10 years telling people or saying openly that the only reason that I was vegetarian and then vegan was because I didn't like the taste of meat, and then because I was lactose intolerant. Whilst these are facts, they're absolutely not the only reason why I went vegetarian and then vegan. The accidentally vegan spiel was literally my way of avoiding confrontational conversations. However, in the last 4 years, I've noticed how many people I have inadvertently influenced or guided towards a plant-based diet. It was originally never my intention. And now that I do enjoy encouraging or educating people closest to me about veganism, because I've seen the positive impact it can actually have, I've noticed that the saying, you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, is so accurate in representing the spread of veganism. Simply by doing you, by cooking friends and family delicious, healthy vegan meals, sharing your favorite plant-based brunch spot or market on social media, and just generally creating a positive environment surrounding your plant-based lifestyle, others notice and consider whether it's something that they should try to pursue as well. And once they've tried the wonder that is Jude's vegan ice cream, Nush almond cream cheese, or of course Oatly oat milk, and then they start following Minimalist Baker and Deliciously Ella on social media, they realize how insanely delicious a plant-based lifestyle really can be. And before you know it, you'll have a whole group of flexi vegan friends without you even trying. If you do find yourself in the middle of a conversation about veganism, your health, its impacts, etc., I've come up with a few tips to keep things civil and avoid a heated discussion. I'll link the sources that I mentioned in the description box below for you to check out and maybe share with a few people as well. So before we start, make sure that you have your facts straight. If you've been vegan for longer than a few months, You have to have your facts straight if you want to have a conversation with anyone about it. It's really not that hard. Just make sure you've done a little bit of research early on so that you have a leg to stand on. If you've made the decision to go vegan, it's likely that you'll already have some facts that are what's making this drive for you. However, if you need a little bit more depth, make sure you watch The Game Changers or Cowspiracy, follow Erin Ireland or Dr. Matthew Naga on social media, read some of the articles I linked down below, and just do some general Googling, but make sure that your sources are actually valid. So here are a few replies to some popular questions or attacks you might get to get you started. Plants have feelings too. Well, you have two options for this ridiculous argument. A, plants are not sentient beings, meaning they do not have the ability to feel or perceive, whereas animals do. Animals are just like us. We can feel and perceive and, have emotions and things. Plants don't actually have that because they're not sentient. There have been various scientific studies into this, and whilst it can be claimed that plants do have an intelligence, you can compare that to your mobile phone. It's simply not the same thing as being a sentient being. Your second option is to copy the ridiculousness of this statement. Simply say, so do humans, but you don't go around eating them, do you? Or does my arm look particularly delicious to you right now, since you don't have an issue with eating things with feelings? Honestly, stupid questions deserve stupid answers. Veganism isn't healthy because you have to take supplements. A common myth about veganism is that because supplements for certain vitamins are recommended, it's not a healthy, balanced diet. If you've watched The Game Changers, or if you follow any vegan nutritionalist online, you'll know that most of the animals that humans eat are fed vitamins and nutrients in order to pass those on to the humans who eat them. Vitamins such as B12 and D3 are mixed into the grain or injected into the animals. In fact, originally B12 was ingested by humans through soil and unfiltered water. However, as food farming got more intense and water more purified and filtered, we lost those natural nutrients that it contained. In fact, 95% of B12 supplements produced are sold to animal agriculture in order to feed farm animals. Similarly, cattle are fed vitamin D3 for their own health, and that is then ingested by the humans when they eat that cow. It's not naturally occurring, it's synthetic and processed, and by taking a supplement, I'm simply cutting out that middleman. Did you know that the omega-3 in the infamous cod liver oil actually comes from the algae that the codfish eat? So by taking an algae oil or algae supplement, it is not only a far more efficient way of getting that omega-3, but it also tastes a darn sight better. I don't need to eat animals in order to get these vitamins to be healthy. I can bypass that and get them in a far more efficient form. I should also add here that not everyone actually needs to take a supplement. There has been plenty of science done on it, and being vegan simply does not mean you have to take a supplement. There are many non-vegans out there who should be taking something because they are deficient in certain areas, including vitamin D3. Again, I highly recommend checking out Dr. Matthew Naga on Instagram. He gives a lot of extremely helpful and scientific information into this. And you can also get vitamin tests online, which you can take at home, which tell you if you're deficient in anything so that you know that you only are taking what you actually need to take. Because even if you aren't plant-based, if your diet is not balanced, you could be missing vital nutrients. You still drive a car, so you can't say you care about the environment. I think we need to talk about accessibility here. Quick break to kill a spider, very vegan of me. Where were we? Oh yes, okay. So trying to have a smaller impact on the environment has to work alongside, living your life. Quite frankly, it is much easier to stop eating meat and dairy than it is to change jobs so that you can walk to work, or to move your entire family and your house so that you're closer to your workplace. There has been a plethora of contradictory studies on whether animal agriculture or fossil fuels contribute the most to climate change. And to be honest with you, nothing is conclusive because a lot of them study very different things. Some of them look at individual impact, some of them look at massive companies. The world is pumping out insane amounts of fossil fuels, Not just individuals driving their cars every single day, but huge factories and all sorts of places. So some studies look at what individuals can do, and some look at what the whole world can do. But the thing is, you can't control massive corporations. You can try, you can protest, you can boycott, you can definitely make people aware of the impact these companies are having, but it's a lot easier to blame big companies and to consider yourself just a victim in all of this. When in reality, you actually can make a change yourself individually. The conclusion is that all of that sucks for the environment, animal agriculture and fossil fuels. But sometimes we have to get places, and that is the reality of life in this century. We drive fossil fuel cars. Technology is advancing, and hopefully in the future, more environmentally friendly options will be available and accessible, which is the most important thing. But in the meantime, I can use a reusable water bottle, I can have a keep cup, a canvas tote bag for my shopping, I can walk as much as I can and get the bus, carpool as much as I can buy sustainable clothing, I can use cruelty-free skincare from local companies, I can choose the plastic-free option at the supermarket, and I can eat a plant-based diet so that I know that I'm doing the very best that I can to lessen my individual impact on the environment. That is what caring really is. It's doing the absolute best that I can, given the circumstances.
People have always eaten meat. Why do you suddenly think we shouldn't?
If you look back on the presumed diet of our ancestors, based on research into fossils and indigenous groups, it has been found that diet varies significantly between locations. There was never one perfect lifestyle that ancient humans ate all over the world. Many evolved to this point now, but no one lifestyle was the same. And that is the perfect reason as to why there is no one perfect lifestyle now. New ideas on the best diet come out all the time. Paleo, vegan, raw, low carb, high carb, seasonal, cyclical, intermittent. There are so many new ideas all the time. And people have success in their life through all of these. There is no one perfect diet. Some of our ancestors did eat meat. Some were mostly herbivores. Some had diets based on fish and rice. But I guarantee you, none of them contained cheese strings and hamburgers. So when someone tells you that veganism doesn't have longevity because our ancestors did it different, ask them what they know about their direct ancestors' diets and whether they fancy tucking into some monkey brain right now. You're only doing it to lose weight. Ugh. This is a common myth, the association between veganism and disordered eating. I'd like to mention here that the grilled chicken and Uncle Ben's rice diet of most uni lads is far more damaging to physical and mental health than a balanced, colourful, plant-based diet. Many people do report losing some weight to begin with on a plant-based diet, and it can be unbelievably beneficial to those struggling with obesity and other weight-related issues, because it can help you reach your natural body weight. And this is usually because you are no longer eating those processed, unhealthy foods that cause the fat to store up to begin with. Everybody has a natural body weight. It differs between people, but it can be reached and maintained without any kind of obsessive or disordered eating. Through eating intuitively, getting plenty of veggies and greens in, and in general, looking after your body like the haven that it is. Tell the haters that my body is my only permanent home. I nurture it, I look after it, and I give it the best treatment that it deserves. Where do you get your protein? I saved the best till last here. The obsession with protein is quite frankly ridiculous. Maybe in an ideal world, we'd all like a booty like Kim's or biceps like Chris Hemsworth. But if you're not spending your days squatting or curling, then you will get enough protein through a healthy plant-based diet. If I use myself as an example here, I don't track or monitor my eating, frankly because every time I've attempted to in the past, it's led me down a very destructive and disturbing path. However, I will usually have a portion of lentils, beans, or chickpeas pretty much every day. I probably eat tempeh, tofu, or soy mince 3 times a week. My breakfasts are usually packed full of nut butters and seeds and oats, Quinoa is my all-time favourite grain. I absolutely love it, and it features in many of my meals. Veg-wise, I love peas, which are a hidden source of protein, broccoli, spinach, mushrooms. Everything I listed here are protein-rich foods. Having a piece of chicken or fish on my plate would not generate any additional health benefits for me. But if we step away from calculating protein for a moment, some of the longest living and arguably healthiest areas and communities in the world eat a low protein diet. A Mediterranean diet consisting mainly of plenty of carbs, fresh vegetables and oils, and comparatively low in protein is the diet of many of the healthiest areas in the world. This suggests that the obsession with protein is purely for aesthetics and has absolutely nothing to do with living a long, healthy life. If you're feeling inspired and looking for some plant-based meal inspo, check out my Instagram at The Loving Lifestyle blog. I have a few recipe videos up there already, but I'm also going to be launching my website sometime next month, and that will have a lot more on it. I really hope that you found this information useful, and feel free to send this video to any skeptics. Let me know down in the comments the most ridiculous or annoying questions that you get asked and how you like to respond to them. Like I said at the beginning, sometimes these conversations are worth having and sometimes they are just a waste of breath. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe on your way out, and try to remember that you don't have to answer to anyone. Your lifestyle is your choice entirely, and whilst you can't control other people's thoughts and opinions towards it, you can control the way that you react. To be the best version of yourself, you have to answer to no one but yourself.